Will you all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Can you hit the audio over there? The switch. Can you hit the audio switch? The power? Sir.
We're just all falling apart. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Cook,
Here.
Mr. Rogan,
Here.
Ms. Smith. Here. Mr. Williams.
Here. Just anxious to get going here. Can I get a motion? Oh, we're doing a public hearing first. Counselor, do we have the legal notice?
We do. Public notice is hereby given that there has been introduced before the town board of the town of Patterson, New York on March 24th, 2021, an amendment to Patterson Town Code, Chapter 150, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, which amendment will revise Chapter 150-12.a to restrict parking on Bullet Hole Road. Now therefore, pursuant to Section 20 of the Municipal Home Rule Law, the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York will hold a public hearing on the aforesaid amendment at the town offices, 1142 Route 311, Patterson, New York, on April 14th, 2021, at 7:00 p.m. in the evening of that day, or as soon thereafter as may be held, at which time all persons interested therein shall be heard. The town board will make every effort to assure that the hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Anyone requiring special assistance and/or reasonable accommodation should contact the town clerk.
Let's start with everybody in the room. I would ask that if anybody in the room has any questions or comment on this local law, please approach the mic. Give your name for the record and ask your question or make your statement.
Just want to read the one sentence.
Judy, you just use the microphone right over here.
Oh, short.
All right, my name is Judy Kelly Moberg, and I live on Bullet Hole Road, town of Patterson. And I am assuming that this is to restrict parking at the end by 164.
This is a law that would restrict parking along the edge of the road, in the road right of way, from one end of Bullet Hole Road to the other end at Fair Street.
And this is for Bullet Hole Road alone in the town of Patterson?
It is.
Well, it's adding bullet hole to the existing inventory.
True.
That's
True, yes,
the
We have other roads that have that same restriction?
yes.
numerous.
All right, my concern is, I guess, because the opening of the rail trail has encouraged many local people to park on Bullet Hole Road down by 164, okay? Actually, it looked to me like earlier this year, there was like gravel or some kind of base material placed in there because it was on a pitch. So it's sort of flat there. And you have an excellent line of sight coming down the road to see the few cars that are there. Probably the most I've seen is 5. Generally they're off the road. I've been monitoring it practically every other day for debris, thinking that folks would get out and throw things around, which I was hoping they wouldn't do, and they have not. I have talked to them. They are absolutely over the moon about being able to get on the rail trail there. Now, I have walked. I really wish there was some way we could allow that to continue to happen there, okay? Because the other option, which I don't know how long it's going to last at that location, is that auxiliary entrance on the other side of the road that Metro North is keeping open in case they have to get on and off the track, which is a blind curve, a completely blind curve with people coming underneath the railroad bridge. I mean, it's worth your life to pull out there. So actually the safer of the 2 spots is that. Now, you and I did talk about the fact that they're trying to do another parking lot down on 311 near the Baptist church. On a sunny day past week, I was in that parking lot with Larry Mandel, as a matter of fact, because we were walking looking for the marbles that blew out of the train wreck. And it was packed. with people already, and so was my corner. I have found in planning hikes, which I plan to lead one down the rail trail, that actually to access it and walk it from the Pump House Road location on Tenetta all the way up to the next parking lot in Holmes is an extremely difficult task for the people I see, the older people walking with children. And so most of the people I meet are local, and they are absolutely thrilled with the fact that we have this there. I know we've talked about trying to come up with another lot, but I honestly think that the one on Bullet Hole Road, from what I have been observing daily, with the line of sight and the people being very careful, is probably safer than the plot that they're on the other side. And I think we're going to have a lot of trouble with there not being adequate parking on 311. So I don't know how to solve the problem, but I don't know what you would intend to do to enforce this. And it just seems to me that sort of sad that people are so excited and delighted in using it, and that we're somehow going to penalize them for parking on the road where they, the access is much easier for people to get on from our town. That's my, and
right.
plus
Don't
I have a little
walk
area
away.
across from my house too.
I have a question for you.
Yeah,
Is there legal access onto the rail trail in that area?
legal for whom?
When MTA designed and constructed the rail trail, did they provide an access point in that area?
We talked about that access point. They were going to try to do it between the two tracks. Okay, where the old Eaton Kelly company was, but there's a wetland there. So I think the wetland fact, there is water there, and a wetland may have prevented them from putting it where we thought they were going to put it.
So in fact, there is no legal access in that area.
I don't know what they're doing with that little piece
So,
across the way.
it's unfortunate that there are some deficiencies, in my opinion, in the overall design of this, that in the rush to get it done, and it's a great asset for the town of Patterson.
Absolutely.
It's fabulous that we've got this now running through our town, and, I'm encouraged by it and very supportive of everybody getting out and using it. Absolutely. But we need to make sure things are safe and they're reasonable. And the fact of the matter is there's no legal access onto the rail trail in that general area. There is no crosswalk going across 164. And when people start parking on 164, there's no legitimate parking, not on 164, and they are parking on 164, but also on Bullet Hole Road. If there were defined parking spaces, where people actually had parking spaces, then it might be a different subject, but it's not there, and the town's not in a position right now to provide that. Meanwhile, we are working on providing a very substantial parking lot over.
Do you know how
Route
many
311.
spots, Rich, how many spots you're going to,
Well,
what's that going to accommodate?
I don't know at this point. I know how many could be there, roughly, 20, 30 spots, but I just found out last week that the county, initially my conversation, because I've been trying to facilitate that parking in that area for some time between Metro North, MTA, and the property owner. And, it's been going in a very favorable direction. And I just found out last week that the county has gotten in the middle of this and has a federal grant to actually build the parking spaces over there, as well as parking spaces at 312. So the county is currently working on a plan for putting that parking lot in, and the one on 312 as well. So it'll be sandwiched in between two parking areas.
Well, that's interesting and good news. The other place I had always thought if you could work it out was the old Lawler building, which we talked about before, that has parking and a cute little, covered bridge, and you could get through there. But again, the rail line is about 20 feet above grade
Correct.
in the back, so you'd have to put a road and then, have some kind of a ramp going up to it. But I thought, here's a parking lot, here's a cute little bridge. Wouldn't that be nice if somehow that could work out, because that's, adequate.
It's just trying to get a ramp up that 20 feet. It's going to be.
I know, but it seemed to me that the other plan they had between the railroad tracks that you and I talked about, they'd also have to put a 20-foot ramp up.
the place over at the, at the Lapcord property,
Yeah,
where we're talking about on 311, MTA put the ramp in. It's
Yeah.
there. It needs to be, adjusted a little bit, but it is 99% done.
all right, so we have to look at what the county's gonna do then, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm just, my feeling is, it's a good thing, people are loving it, I hate to penalize them for parking on the Bullet Hole Road.
Listen, I do too, and I'm all for people using the rail trail, but they need to do it in a safe manner, and that's not a safe location. People constantly are driving through that 164 bridge, and they're not, they're coming right down the middle of the road, and they're coming at a
I know
fairly
what they're
high
doing,
clip
yeah, I
of
know.
speed.
But actually, at this point, people who are walking from Bullet Hole Road are walking along facing traffic on 164 until they get opposite, and then they can look and cross. But the people pulling out of that other spot on the other side, unless they get out pretty quick, they whip around under those bridges heading towards. and
But
it's
as I
just
told
a
you, that
deadly
driveway
situation.
entrance is being moved. It's not going to be there.
I was hoping they'd make that a handicap, that Metro North would actually make that into a handicap spot so that people could get on with wheelchairs
Yeah,
there.
that would have been nice.
Yeah.
Rich, is there any way that we could reach out to the county because they have, they have their transit system and the part 3 runs right along 311. And I don't know if we could maybe until the parking lots are developed, that we could partner maybe with the Acme Plaza. There's always plenty of parking up there and the part 3 bus actually pulls in there and then it heads towards Putnam Plaza. So it could actually just go down Cornwall, come around and drop, and go through the
For people
bridges.
walking, not biking, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Yeah,
for people walking, people that are driving there.
Certainly, I can ask.
I mean, I don't know if it's just like a short term. I know they run shuttles,
And a note here, I can talk to Rich Vitelli again, at Metro North, who was one of the guys that we talked with initially. Because, and also with Russ here, because there are 2 signs. There's one in front of my house that with flapping paper, plastic on it, and another one down towards 164 that's covered. And both those signs were Metro North signs, or at least Alta, the company that was doing the building of the trail. They put them in when they were working there in the corner, and they have forgotten to remove them. So the signs are still
What do they say?
men working. It's one across from my house, about this tall.
Yeah.
It's covered.
Orange, right?
Yeah, big. It's covered with plastic. So I tried to tell Rich Patelli about it, but I guess it never got to.
Is that right? So they-
Whoever
they're
the
there all the
folks
time.
were.
I don't recall. I'll have to
Yeah,
take a
so, I mean, I don't know what you could do, but if they don't come, you could take them. Why not? So, I mean, that's what I wanted to say is that I'm sorry that we haven't figured out something that would work better for us.
Listen, I wish it had, all been addressed before the trail was open, but doing the best we can.
They did put up the signs we asked.
Rich, I do want to say that on the way here this evening, I witnessed someone parking all the way up at the intersection of Cornwall Hill Road by Turtle Pond and unloading bikes. And they were obviously heading from that location all the way down. They were going to ride the bike down probably 164 to get to the access. So, this is definitely a huge problem, the
Yeah.
access. We want people, I agree with everything that was said. We want people to access this safely. And I think the fear everyone has is the liability for us just having people that have notified us that they have complaints and concerns about this area, which has promulgated this discussion, if I remember correctly. And then, not taking an action. I think at a minimum, what will happen is there will be signs posted that will say no parking along this section.
There is no sign parking there now.
There is. Oh,
I
that works
believe
well.
Metro North put it up.
Okay.
There's a little green sign that's hardly noticeable.
Yeah.
And it says, please do not park here to access the rail trail. And it tells you to go to Lake Tenetta or 292. It's
That-
about this big.
But that's at the parking area on 164.
No, it's not the parking area. When you go on Bullet Hole Road, it faces you going into Bullet Hole Road on the bottom of the sign.
Wow.
They don't,
It's this
they
big.
don't have
It's
any,
hardly noticeable.
they don't have the authority to put something up.
There's no name on the bottom. There's no. you
Maybe
know,
a
police
resident
will-
put it up.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
you've seen it.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, they put it on one of our signs.
Could be not done by, it could be done by somebody
It's
who's
Metro, it's gotta
upset.
be
Oh, it's
North,
Metro?
Because it just tells you to go to either one of the two.
Oh,
we'll take a look at it.
okay. Yeah.
All right, I'd like to turn to our Zoom audience right now. If anybody joining us tonight on Zoom has any comments or questions on this potential local law and this topic, you would just kind of identify yourself, unmute, say your name.
Hi, this is Georgette Fusco. No, I have no comment. I'm just interested to hear what you guys are doing and what's going on.
Okay, thank you. All right, hearing no other comments, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, would somebody like to make a motion on the reports?
I'll make a motion that we approve the code compliance report, code enforcement, dog control, and ECI reports. Oh, and I'm sorry, and also Patterson Rec report for March 2021. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion on the supervisor's report?
Motion, we approve the supervisor's report for February 2021. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And on
Minutes.
minutes, I'll make a motion, we approve the bid opening, highway materials minutes of March 17th, 2021, the bid opening seasonal lawn maintenance and landscaping bids from March 30th, 2021, the public hearing for the lighting district minutes for February 24th, 2021, the town board meeting minutes for March 24th and March 10th, 2021. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, would somebody like to audit the bills?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve abstract number 6 dated March 26, 2021, in the amount of $613,823.61. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I'll also make a motion to approve abstract number 7A dated April 9th, 2021, in the amount of $3,536.64. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have no budget transfers, and Mr. D'Andriano unfortunately is running late. Hopefully he will be joining us at some point during the meeting, but does anybody have any interest in taking on the recreation requests?
I'll take it.
I'll do it. Whatever you want to do, or I'll do it.
I'll take it if you want to take the South Lake Drive.
There's enough of them, so you can all share.
Okay.
There are a lot.
Okay, looks like that we had a non-bid RFP procurement request form to purchase 72 reversible flag football jerseys, moisture wicking. There was 2 price quotes that came in. The low bidder is Sleep Sportswear in the amount of $1,152. Motion to approve and purchase these 72 jerseys in the amount of $1,152. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
We also have another non-bid request for 35 soccer jerseys and 8 soccer jerseys and adult. Lowest price came in again, the Select Sportswear in the amount of $455.50. I'll make a motion to approve the purchase. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Staff additions. Mr. Chabarro has requested to rehire Cassidy Speller as a part-time staff member for the town of Patterson Rec Department at the rate of $16 per hour. Cassidy has served the town in many ways over the past number of years. She's a valued member to the department as well as the town's lifeguarding program. We'd like to also rehire Chris Santos, our basketball camp director, at the rate of $23. Chris has been basketball camp director for a number of years and has done a fantastic job. He'd also like to rehire Adriana Palermo as multi-activity camp leader at the rate of $15 per hour. Adriana also served in a capacity previously and more than exceeded the expectations for this position. He'd also like to hire Michael Pina as a junior staff member to the town of Patterson Rec Department at the rate of $10.50 per hour. So I'll make a motion to approve Cassidy, Chris, Adriana, and Mike Pina So
All in favor?
pending all paperwork is finalized. That's it. Thank you. We have some fees, the following prices to be in effect for the 2021 summer camps. Very quickly, I'll go through the pricing. Multi-activity camps for the weeks of July 28th, 12th, 26th, August 2nd, 9th, and 16th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Early bird pricing in effect till May 4th, 130 per child per week, 110 per sibling. No other discounts will apply. Standard pricing begins May 5th, $170 per child and $150 per sibling. Flag football mini camp, July 6th through July 9th, 4-day camp, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Early bird pricing in effect until May 4th, $120 per child, $100 per sibling. No other discounts will apply. Standard pricing begins May 5th. Basketball camp, week of July 19th, early bird pricing in effect until May 4th, $150 per child, $130 per sibling, and no other discounts will apply. Standard pricing will begin on May 5th. Nature Adventure Camp, July 6th through July 9th, 4-day camp, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Early bird pricing in effect until May 4th, $65 per child, $55 per sibling. No other discounts apply. Standard pricing, $80 per child, $70 per sibling. CIT program available during each camp session offered. 15 years old, $75 per week, $60 for flag football mini camp week, and no discounts will apply. Let's see that everything's up and moving again. I'll make a motion to approve all the prices as read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next on piece agenda is a resolution for reduction of highway speed for South Lake Drive, town of Patterson. We had, at the request of the residents along South Lake Drive, we had sent a letter over to the County Highway Department requesting that the town be allowed to reduce the speed limit on South Lake Drive to 25 miles per hour. The county sent a letter back requesting that the town to start the process, do a formal resolution. Everybody has that in front of them. So I'd like to introduce the resolution for the speed reduction of South Lake Drive and ask that it be entered into the record as read.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next item on the agenda is an agreement between MStar and the town of Patterson. This is an agreement for the ALS EMTs to hop on our ambulance when needed. And I would like to table this until after executive session because it has to do with some very specific language within the contract that we change, I think. So. Rejection, we'll move on to Charlie. Charlie, what do you got?
Thank you. Next, we have letters of resignation. Did we previously do the one at Brady?
I thought we did. No.
Okay. We have a letter from Mr. Ed Brady, member of the Patterson Planning Board, who was resigning from the position. So it's been his pleasure to serve the town, but he needs more time with his family. I'll make a motion that the town board accept the resignation letter from Mr. Brady. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Next, we have a resignation letter from a member of the BAR, basically for the same reason, family reasons, and that is from Christina Rizzo. I'll make a motion that the town board accept the resignation letter from Christina Rizzo. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Planning board. Next, we have a resolution for appointment to the planning board. And whereas after considering all applications and conducting interviews of all applicants, the town board has determined to appoint Mr. Stephen, how do you say this? Oski, to fill the unexpired term of Mr. Ed Brady, which expires this year, which unexpired, excuse me, fill the unexpired term of Ed Brady, which expires December 31st, 2025. I'll make a motion to town board approve this resolution as read. So moved.
Second.
I just want to make the statement that we, the town board had interviewed three very, very excellent candidates. Any one of the three would have been a real asset to the planning board. Unfortunately, at this time, we only have one opening. But I do intend to reach out to the other candidates to see if I can use them elsewhere. So,
Agree.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Me.
Next, we have
Yeah,
non-bid procurement request form relative to portable toilets for the parks, a 3-year price agreement. And we had reached out to 4 contractors, 2 returned bids, 2 did not return calls or emails. And the low bidder was Reliable On-Site Service for cost of $4,158 per year or $12,474 for 3 years. So I'll make a motion to the town board approve the quotes from Reliable On-Site Service for portable toilets for our parks area. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
John,
Is that Charles?
I'm good.
Okay, first item, 8 Sharon Road, we've discussed in the past. This is a situation where a resident in Putnam Lake approached the town board about town-owned property adjacent to their house. We had gotten that property from Putnam County many years ago for our MS4 stormwater program, and we have never used that property for such, and looked at the feasibility of allowing that to transfer to a neighboring property so that it can be put back on the tax rolls, and then the community would get some benefit from that. There is a reverter clause when the county transfers property to us. So the county legislature, I believe, maybe 2 weeks ago, approved to amend that reverter clause that would allow the town to use it for, or allow it to be transferred to a neighboring property. Again, it's unbuildable property. It gives somebody, allow them to cut maybe dangerous trees down, which was a concern on the property. And so we are looking to council just for procedural, now that the county has removed the reverter clause, it does need to be co-joined, and they specifically approved it for this, for this transfer. What our, next step, sure that we don't run afoul of any procedures.
Yes, so we should contact the neighboring property owners regarding if they would agree to a purchase of the property with these specific provisions that the county has put in place. Given those provisions are in place, I'm sure that it greatly decreases the marketability of that property. I think they specifically said that we could only transfer it to those property owners.
Correct.
And we'd have to have the appropriate deed restrictions in place.
Okay.
In order to ensure that there is no future development, because I believe also that they said that we had to merge
Correct.
all 3
And
lots.
merge the property,
So
it'll be- that's
The
correct.
appropriate restrictions in the deed from the town to the property owner, and also the appropriate merger in the records of the town showing that those 3 properties have been merged. And I believe that the county resolution also said that it'd be 1 tax map for all 3 parcels following the
Correct.
merger.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
So would you be preparing the paperwork on the property transfer?
we can prepare the paperwork on the property transfer. I think that would probably be the most efficient way to do it instead of,
Okay. So why
with-
don't I set up a meeting between myself, yourself, Sean, want to be involved or not?
I don't think it's necessary, but
Okay.
I'm happy to be if you want me to.
To have a conversation with the property owner about the restrictions, what he's going to be able to use the property for in the future, because we are going to deed restrict it to ensure water quality protection in the Putnam Lake area. And what the process would be to transfer that over.
yes, and also just what the recording fees are, and I'm sure that we'll be asking the property owner to pay for that, given that there's going to be a transfer to them.
And full disclosure, the property owner initially reached out because he had a tree or two that he felt was endangering the safety of his family. We couldn't give him permission to go on town property to cut a tree down, and he was willing to do it, but this was really about safety or perceived safety for his house. And so property reverts to him. He can then go in and hire a tree company to come in and safely remove the trees that he's concerned about. They're literally leaning right over his house. It's a steep lot.
Mhm.
So,
And remove the trees he's concerned about and removed any trees that might affect other property owners as well. So,
okay, great. Second is the local law number 1 that was discussed in the public hearing earlier. We have a resolution which I introduced, and this is a change to Town Code Chapter 150 entitled Vehicle and Traffic. It, as mentioned in the public hearing, it will add Bullet Hole Road from 164 to Fair Street to the list of, there's about 8 or 9 roads on the list of roads that do not allow parking or parking being prohibited. So I will make a motion to introduce this resolution and enter it into the record as though read. So moved.
All in favor?
And lastly, we have a need to hire special counsel for a tax certiorari, the Solano tax certiorari. We have, yes.
We're hiring an
Oh, I'm sorry.
appraiser.
I didn't
not
not counsel. I apologize. Thank you, appraiser. I meant that. My brain didn't transfer. We have a request that we would like to approve to hire Steve Sherwood of Valuation Plus, and the amounts approved would be $7,500 for the trial report and $1,500 for testimony. The rates per hour are $150 per hour. So I'll make a motion. We approve those rates for Steve Sherwood of Valuation Plus. Got it all, Rich? That makes sense.
Believe so, yeah.
Okay. So in relation specifically to the Solano tax certiorari, so moved.
All in favor? All right, the first on my agenda is a new state law that was approved, signed by the governor March 31st, 2001, which now allows recreational marijuana in New York State. It has some concerns for the town and our residents for sure. It talks about the law provides for the town to adopt zoning that would regulate where dispensaries and consumption sites could be, but then goes on to tie the town's hands up when it comes to certain signage and zoning, cultivation, manufacturing, and processing. It appears to me, and Counselor, jump in if I'm going foul here, it appears to me that it looks like our hands may be tied by the state, who is going to preempt the town from saying where these activities can occur. As I outlined in the memo, one of my concerns is when you're growing marijuana, so I'm told, that typically it's done either in a large warehouse in a controlled environment or a greenhouse in a controlled environment, and greenhouses typically have 24/7 lighting for the marijuana, and the state would be setting the criteria for where that would occur, and it could end up in somebody's backyard, which is a very big concern. And I intend to share this memo with our state representatives and some who are not representing us, because I have talked to some assemblymen about this already. The good news is we would be getting, some tax revenue out of this, but as our county exec has pointed out recently, that if we had $1 million worth of sales, there would be allocated to all the municipalities who allow consumption and sales, a pot of $30,000 to be split up between them. Not a big revenue source by any means, considering the potential impact that it may be on our community. One of the things that the town board does need to wrestle with is for retail sales and consumption sites, we have the ability to opt out. So they would not be permitted anywhere within our boundaries. But we need to do that within 9 months of the adoption of this law, which I'm taking is March 31st. So, going forward, we're going to have that discussion about whether we should be opting out or not opting out.
Is that in your memo?
It is in my memo. So just want to bring that to everybody's attention. Anybody have any questions this time?
Yeah.
All right. Next on my agenda, we've received a request from the American Legion Post for a waiver of fees for a potential site plan application. Unfortunately, the American Legion went in ahead of going to the planning board and getting approval for a parking lot. I anticipate that the planning board may issue a site plan waiver, and so this is not going to be an issue. But there may be some difficulties for the planning board to do that. They may require a site plan. The application fee that we would be waiving would be about $500. Any thoughts?
I have no trouble with that.
No.
It's the American Legion and the membership is all veterans and
Yeah.
not a problem.
All right, I'll make a motion that we waive the application fees for a site plan for the American Legion to the planning board in the amount of $500. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and I will save my executive session to the end. We have 2 personnel issues and we have a couple of legal issues. Just so everybody in the public knows, we put out for bid sanitation district number 1, 2, Putnam Lake District. We got 1. I get them confused all the time. Low bidder came in. It was Suburban Carting, in my opinion. There were some clarifications we needed in the bid, which we did. So we awarded it to Suburban Carting, and AAA has challenged that decision and is suing the town now to overturn that decision, claiming that they are the low bidder. So I think we're on good, solid ground here, but I'll leave that to council. And we need to have a conversation about, the approach we're going to take on this in executive session, and then come out and authorize the council to defend the town. Barry.
Yes, I'm up. First item on my agenda is Earth Day, spring cleanup. Earth Day is April 22nd. We are encouraging all residents to take a few minutes on Earth Day or that weekend and clean up the litter along the road in front of your home or anywhere else that you see it. You can place the litter collected in orange bags that will be picked up by the town. The town has a limited supply of orange bags, so please contact the supervisor's office for bags. I know they are running an event up in Putnam Lake at Warren Beach, April 24th and 25th, starting at 9 a.m. The recycled bags, garbage bags, and bottled water will be provided at Warren Beach. Full bags can be left at any receptacle at the parkland for pickup. Sorry that I have this on my phone and I didn't have it printed out, but I just wanted to acknowledge the proclamation that came in from the county office, Legislator Nassarino. She'd like us to adopt the Keep Putnam Beautiful slogan throughout Putnam County. She feels as though that it fosters awareness, a sense of pride, and it promotes unity. And raises awareness and fosters a sense of pride. So I just wanted to quote that from Legislator Nassarino, who's really working hard to get this this program off the ground and running. So the Putnam County is one of the most unique counties in New York State, as it is located close to proximity to large cities, but remains a quiet pastoral community where many natural and historic sites can be enjoyed. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm just going to read the end of it. Legislator Ginny Nasarino recognized that the need to maintain and even improve the environment in Putnam County is ever present, and thereby has launched a campaign to reintroduce the Keep Putnam Beautiful slogan and reestablish the program. The Putnam County Health Department and Tourism Department join in the effort with towns, villages, and individual community volunteers to make the prevention of litter and preservation of the environment a priority in our community. By employing the same spirit and concerted effort as the original program, a renewed pride will be instilled in our county, and Putnam will remain the idyllic home and destination it is and has always been. Now therefore be it resolved that Putnam County Executive Mary Ellen Odell and the Putnam County Legislature hereby proclaim April as Keep Putnam Beautiful Month and encourage all residents to remain cognizant in their impact on the environment. Who's also asked to thank Russ for stepping up and agreeing to pick up the bags, and the Putnam Lake Park District for organizing their weekend event. So that's all I have on Earth Day. I hope everyone can get out there. I know that we've already been picking up after a big windstorm. Then we've had recycles all over the neighborhood. But I hope everyone can get out there, do it safely, keep social distancing, and stay hydrated, and watch out for people texting in their cars while you're walking along the roads. Next item on my agenda is the lawn bid award. We have 2 resolutions here. One is for the acceptance of bid for seasonal lawn maintenance and landscaping of town properties. Colonial Town Landscaping has submitted the lowest bid proposal, a full and complete copy of which is annexed here too and hereby made a part hereof. The Town Board of the Town of Patterson wishes to accept the aforementioned bid proposal submitted by Colonial Town Landscaping, which includes a bid amount for the 2021 season of $15,950. I'll make a motion to approve and enter this resolution into the record as though read. So moved. Did hear second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I did
Second.
hear these other things.
Second resolution is for the seasonal lawn maintenance and landscaping town-owned properties of the Putnam Lake Park District. Once again, Colonial Town Landscaping has submitted the lowest bid, a full and complete copy of which is annexed here too and hereby made part hereof. The Town Board of the Town of Patterson wishes to accept the aforementioned bid proposal submitted by Colonial Town Landscaping, which includes a bid amount of $7,850. I'd like to make a motion to approve and enter this resolution into the record as though read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
And to complement our Earth Day on May 1st, we have Putnam County Department of Health Household Hazardous Waste Drop-Off Day. We didn't have one last year, so I'm sure everybody's collected a lot of hazardous waste to drop off at Fawnstock State Park, Cannabis Beach Parking Lot, Route 301, Kent. This is May 1st, 2021, between the hours of 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. I don't know if you can see that, Paul.
Just hang outside.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks.
So if you have items accepted, consumer commodity packaged household products only, inclusive of some chemicals, non-latex driveway sealer, I'm sure you could go to the website and pre-register, which is required at www.putnamcounty.ny.com/green-putnam to schedule an appointment. I'm sure they have this on there and you can see what you can or cannot bring on that day. And that is actually all I have.
Excuse me?
That's all I have.
Okay, and we'll call for other business. Does any town board member have any other business they wish to bring up at this time?
Yes, I have 2 items. First, the town board has received a short memo from the Putnam Lake Seniors. I'll just read this, it's very short. On behalf of the Putnam Lake Seniors, I would like to thank, this is our supervisor, thank you for allowing us to use the Patterson Recreation Center for our weekly meetings. It is always a pleasure to use this facility each Wednesday for a few hours. Matt and the staff are always so pleasant and helpful. The tables are always set up to our liking, and the room is very clean and in perfect order. We really appreciate the time and effort that they take for us. Please extend our thanks to Matt and his staff, as well for their hard work and dedication. Thanks again, Fran Mazzilla, Secretary, Putnam Lake Seniors. So we thank you for the note, Fran. Second item I have is we've been discussing the historical signs around the village here. And because they were in such bad shape that the supervisor ordered them to be removed. I met with the Historical Society yesterday to talk about replacing the signs. They're a very enthusiastic group, would love to take on this project. They even have, if broken into two phases, if you will. One phase was to replace the existing signs. And the second phase, which is out a little bit there, would be where the possibility to put new signs, like the old schoolhouse or wherever. So the major point that came up in the discussions was, of course, funding. So I said I would talk to the board, and because this is no sense us going out and doing all this work, et cetera, and the price tag is X, and the town board doesn't agree to do it. So what they would like is the direction that the town board would either, if possible, funding it from this year's budget, or certainly from next year's budget, that we would add it in. You know, if something that we had budgeted for this year wasn't going to come to fruition, well, maybe we could use that money. But I think we should give them the direction that says, go and get some prices to replace these signs. An interesting thing is that gentleman was, I think, said Bob Miller. And he said he was involved with the original signs.
Bill Clark. Bill Clark.
Clark, I was close. Back in the late 90s.
Bill Clark was there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And he was involved in it back in the late 90s. I guess tied in with the bicentennial of the town. And he made the comment, which was really amusing, that the original signs that were put up, the thought was they would only last a week or two back in 1997. And here we just took them down in 2020 or wherever, whenever we took them down. So, but they weren't legible. So anyhow, I think, and Judy is here, if we could at least give the go-ahead to go and find prices, come back, and we'll discuss what we can do and what we can't do, and what we can do when we can do it.
All right, so we always have the issue about, you know, if you go out and get pricing, you know, it may, if this is a number that we're going to end up having to bid out, it may cause a problem. So while I understand what you're saying, I would say that the town is committed to getting these signs back up. We all, you know, think they're important to our community. But it depends on what we're being asked to put back up, whether we're going to be able to do it all at once, or we're going to have to piecemeal it, and whether it's going to be a little bit now and a little bit later.
Right.
So what I would suggest is You know, for you to work with the Historical Society, and I do want to give a shout out to Bill Clark, who, you know, was one of the people that spearheaded this. And actually, all the material that I had passed on, I had received from Bill Clark. That, you know, you come up with, you know, a concept about what you're going to propose, you know, whether it's going to be a big metal sign or it's, you know, going to be something that's laminated and sealed up. And then, you know, present that back to the town board. If the town board likes what they see, then, you know, we certainly can then, you know, through building and maintenance and myself, we can chase prices on that. But Judy is just ready to jump out of her chair. So Judy, if you want to go up to the mic. Yes, you do need to use the mic.
The school teacher's voice.
And you're wearing a mask.
You know, yeah, yes, you are. Okay. There were originally 9 signs, okay? And when we tried to figure out what the intent was for these signs in the first place, they're intended to be read by people walking. So it was kind of the idea that there would be a walking tour through the town. And so they were kind of all based on the hamlet and the churches, the Grange Hall, and so on and so forth. So of those original signs, you know, they cover that section. That's outside of that section was Larry wanted one on the Baptist church, which was way out on 311, but we gave one to Larry. Okay. Otherwise, they're within the town. So I think what we really, I think it's a good thing for people to know that even though we're a little border town and a little railroad town, okay, that we may be swamp rats, but we have an awfully exciting and interesting history, something we can be proud of in the town. And I think seeing those signs up, I think gave people a sense of pride in the history of this town. And I think we, you know, we can take all of that we can get, honestly. And if we come up with proposals for what the materials are and so on and so forth, obviously, you know, that would be the next step. And the other consideration would be even beyond that, if we wanted to consider going beyond that and including things like Main Street or where the cigar factory was or the Little Red Schoolhouse. You know, those are considerations that we might want to add in the future. People did discuss the idea. I like the actual physical sign myself. Okay. But of course, there are other things today where you can go up and with your phone and, you know, click on a app, whatever, an app, and you can hear the whole history.
Or scan.
Maybe, maybe not. Okay, so it's that concept, I think, of community pride. I know there are other possible ways of helping to fund this if it's something we all want to go ahead on. I mean, other towns have people fund bricks, you know, and their little walkways, and people in the community and businesses, you know, pick up a sign here or there. So hopefully between the town and maybe a little help from the community, we can do this and maybe even a little more. So we just want to know if you guys think that this is something that you would like us to pursue right now.
Judy, I think that you heard from the supervisor that, and I'll speak for my colleagues on the board, we would like to pursue it. We would like the Historical Society to come back to the board with sort of a mock-up, if you will, about.
Well, a plan, how many signs, you know, what the signs are gonna look like, you know,
Material.
and materials, how we're gonna make them.
Right. Obviously, we would make them so they last more than 2 weeks.
That would be a good,
Thanks, Richard.
okay. Any other board member have any other business? All right, I just have one thing. We received notice, our local post 9257 of our VFW is going to be holding a fundraiser. I believe this is going to be directed mostly at replacing the roof, which is in dire need. They're having a golf outing at the Putnam County Golf Course. Where is it? On June 21st. The Joseph J. and Rachel Morrissey golf outing at the Putnam County Golf Course. For further information, please contact Scotty Kearney at 213 Fairfield Drive, Scotty's Liquor, for anybody that doesn't know, or 845-279-5214. So I'm sure this is going to be a great event, and please come out and support your community. Okay, let's open it up to public recognition. Anybody who is joining us by, well, anybody, let's start with the audience. Anybody in the audience have any comments to make at this time? Hearing none. Anybody joining us on Zoom, if you would unmute and identify yourself and ask any question or make any comment you wish to make at this time with the town board.
Good evening. It's Scott Seaman from the Brewster Board of Ed. Hope everyone is well. I just wanted to give an update. Since the last time we spoke, we do have all the students back in school. All the students that wish to in our grades K through 12 are in at this time. It looks to be about 80% in person, 20% online, still in the lower grades, and in the high school, it's about 70-30. But everybody is back in at this time. I think the only thing right now is we're planning on is graduation for this year, as WestCon has closed for all graduations, and the governor just rolled out some new regulations. That's what we're working on at this time to see how, but it will be at the high school grounds in whatever format it's agreed upon. Just wanted to get some of the word out. Once again, we want to thank you for what you guys do for us.
All right, thank you. And likewise, thank you for all you do, and thank you for tuning in and providing the update. Anyone else? Hello, Laura.
Hi, I had nothing to say, but thank you guys for everything you do for the town.
Oh, thank you. Laura's chairwoman of our Putnam Lake Park Advisory Board. Works very, very hard at the job and does a wonderful job. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, hearing no other comment, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session. Motion. Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you all for joining us tonight.